The rain had been falling since morning, slow at first, then heavier, as if the sky itself had grown tired of holding things in. Outside a small neighborhood store, neon lights flickered, reflecting off the wet pavement. People rushed past with umbrellas and tired faces, eager to get home. Inside the store, the clock ticked loudly toward closing time. And then a trembling voice broke the silence. "Please. Please don't close the store yet," the woman said, clutching the edge of the counter. "My son needs one more blanket." The man standing behind the counter looked up. He was wearing a plain gray hoodie, slightly worn shoes, and a cap pulled low over his eyes. To anyone watching, he looked like just another tired store manager ready to lock up and go home. But he wasn't. He was the CEO, and in that moment, something in his chest tightened. "Before we go any further, let me ask you something. Have you ever been one small moment away from giving up, only to be seen by someone who changed everything? If stories like this touch your heart, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us share more real, emotional stories that remind us kindness still exists. Now, let's go back to that rainy night. The woman standing at the counter looked exhausted in a way that sleep alone could never fix. Her coat was thin, clearly not meant for winter, and it hung loosely on her shoulders. Her hair was tied back hastily, as if she hadn't had time to look in a mirror all day. Water dripped from the ends, darkening the fabric near her collar. Behind her, near the heater by the wall, sat a little boy, maybe 6 or 7 years old. He hugged his knees to his chest, wrapped in an old blanket that was too small, its edges frayed and threadbare. His sneakers were soaked through and he shivered, trying not to cry. The man behind the counter, Daniel, though tonight he answered only to manager, glanced at the clock. 5 minutes past closing. "I'm sorry," he said. Gently. "We've already closed the register." The woman's face fell. "I know," she said quickly, panic rising in her voice. "I know I'm late. I worked 2 jobs and the bus was delayed and I just need one more blanket. The weather's getting colder and he's been sick." Her voice cracked. "Please." Daniel had spent years sitting in boardrooms with polished tables and people who spoke in numbers instead of names. He'd approved budgets larger than this entire store's yearly revenue without blinking. But this made him blink hard. He looked again at the boy, who tried to smile when their eyes met. "How much is the blanket?" Daniel asked. The woman swallowed. $29. Daniel nodded slowly. "And you have?" She opened her wallet with shaking hands. Inside were a few crumpled bills and some coins. 18, she whispered. "I'll come back tomorrow with the rest. I promise. You can keep my ID. Anything." Daniel felt something shift inside him. Something he hadn't felt in a long time. "Why don't you tell me your name?" he asked instead. The woman hesitated, confused. "Maria." "And your son?" "Leo." Daniel smiled softly. "Hi, Leo." Leo nodded shyly. Daniel wasn't supposed to be here. 3 weeks earlier, the company's quarterly report had shown declining profits in several small neighborhood stores. The board suggested closures, fast, clean, efficient. Daniel agreed, at first, but something bothered him. These weren't just numbers on a spreadsheet. They were stores in places like this, quiet neighborhoods where people knew the cashiers by name. So he decided to go undercover. No security, no assistants, no announcements, just him. "Maria," Daniel said, turning back to the shelves. "Can you show me which blanket you wanted?" Her eyes widened with hope. Yes, thank you." She hurried to a rack near the back. Daniel followed. "This one," she said, touching a thick blue blanket, soft and warm. "He likes blue, says it makes him feel safe." Daniel picked it up. It was heavier than it looked. He imagined a small boy shivering through cold nights. "Leo," Daniel called. "Come here." Leo stood, dragging the old blanket behind him. Daniel knelt down so they were eye level. "Is this the one you like?" Leo nodded. "It's really warm." Daniel smiled. "Warm is good." He stood up and carried the blanket to the counter. "Maria," he said, "tonight the blanket is $18. She froze. "What?" "That's what you have. 18. Her eyes filled instantly. I can't take charity. Daniel shook his head. It's not charity, it's a manager's decision. She laughed softly through tears, covering her mouth with her hand. Thank you, she whispered. You don't know what this means. Daniel watched as she wrapped the new blanket around Leo. The boy's shoulders relaxed almost immediately. As they headed toward the door, Maria turned back. I hope whoever owns this store knows what kind of person you are, she said. Daniel smiled but said nothing. That night, Daniel couldn't sleep. The image of Leo wrapped in that blanket replayed over and over in his mind. He thought about Maria's tired eyes, about the desperation in her voice. Not greed, not entitlement, just survival. The next morning, Daniel returned to the store, not undercover this time. The employees were stunned when they realized who he was. He gathered them together and asked one simple question. Who are we serving? The room was quiet. People, one cashier finally said, families. Daniel nodded. Exactly. He canceled the store closure, but that wasn't enough. 2 weeks later, Maria was on her lunch break at her first job, cleaning offices downtown when her phone rang. This is Daniel Carter from Northway Retail, the voice said. She nearly dropped the phone. I'm sorry, she said nervously. Did I do something wrong? No, Daniel said quickly. Quite the opposite. I was the manager you spoke to that night. Silence. You're the owner? The CEO, he replied gently. Maria sat down hard in a chair. I want to help, Daniel continued, not with handouts, but with opportunities. He'd learned from the store manager that Maria was reliable, kind, and always on time. She'd asked once about job openings but never pushed. I'd like to offer you a position at the store, Daniel said. Full-time, benefits, and hours that work around Leo's school. Maria covered her mouth again, tears streaming freely. Why? She asked. Why me? Daniel paused. Because you reminded me why this business exists. Months passed. Winter softened into spring. The store became a different place. Warmer, friendlier. A small sign appeared near the entrance. If you're cold, ask us for a blanket. Maria worked behind the counter now. Her posture straighter, her smile brighter. Leo did his homework at a small table near the back, always wrapped in that blue blanket when it got chilly. One afternoon, Leo tugged Daniel's sleeve during a visit. Mister, he said seriously, when I grow up, I want to help people too. Daniel knelt down. You already are. On the 1-year anniversary of that rainy night, Daniel stood in front of the store staff. One blanket, he said, saved more than a child from the cold. It saved us from forgetting who we are. He looked at Maria, who nodded quietly. Sometimes, the biggest changes don't start with grand speeches or million-dollar decisions. They start with someone saying, please don't close the store, and someone else choosing to listen. If this story moved you, please like the video and subscribe to the channel, because stories like this deserve to be told, and kindness deserves to be shared.